Hello, and good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing this morning? Hope all is well. Hope the Lord did bring us through another day, another week, another month, another year. Before we start this morning, let me introduce myself. I am Exodus, and this is Exodus Automotive. I would like to say thank you, and appreciation is well enough out there for all the support that we are receiving. Thank you so much. Last night we were on a Pathfinder doing a alternator. The belts weren't in just yet, so I kind of wrapped up. I was forced out last night. So we're going to continue. I did get the alternator in, and the bolt in the rear, I did secure it. The upper bolt used a nut, a long bolt, and a funky lock nut on the rear, but it's very hard to access because of the wire harness, and the oil cooler sits right below it. So we're gonna try to see if we could put the vehicle back up in the air and do our wire harness around the rear. Okay, and once again, this is Exodus at Exodus Automotive. All right, see you in a few. All right. Listen to this new development. So we put the alternator in last night, yes? Now, I'm going to go put the wiring and so forth. The same headache came about. You can't get to the wiring with the alternator sitting in its place. The oil pressure switch on top of the oil cooler that sits underneath the alternator does not allow for your hand to get up there. So I'm gonna have to take it back out, remove back that same crazy nut that's in the back there. But one good thing is that I did do is I sprayed it down last night before I left and blew it and got rid of all of that grease and stuff. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, so that's on the alternator there. So the brackets are loose. Yeah, I didn't tighten them down. I just put the alternator in there. So now I'm have to pull it back out again. So you have a 12 millimeter bolt here, and you have a 12 millimeter bolt here that holds this bracket, that holds the lower bolt to the alternator, and you have your upper bolt here that is a 14. Now this one here, let's see if that little nut piece is gonna fall off. It should. There you go. All right. Now, here's our little nut piece. Yes? This is your biggest headache right here. Getting this on the back of that bolt there when there is no space around the back for you to get your hands in there. But when we come to it, I'll definitely see what we could do as far as visual. All right, I'm going to loosen off this. So this is one, and well, the bracket, well, maybe. Okay. So we have them hanging, yes? We have to get our connectors in there. So the best thing I could tell you is this. Okay. We're gonna have to rest them here like this. You can do it from the top, I guess. You will arch over, but realistically, let's see. Oh, okay. Now I want to try to see if I can give you a visual. Okay. Now, this is the backside of the alternator. Okay. You have your wire harness. There goes your plug for the alternator. All sorts of wires and stuff. There is this one here. It's like a ground that goes to the back of the alternator, 10 millimeter. This one here is your main plug, and if you look up top, you see the main battery wire there. So when I say that it is tedious, yeah, I really do mean that it's tedious to get up in there. You know. Right. Now you notice I had to take it back down, but you see how is it that the wiring goes? You see how it's just tilt on the side there? I'm gonna put that 10 millimeter, this one here, bolt it up, tighten up this one, 12 millimeter, right? And then we'll be able to plug it in on the side there. All right, I don't know if we're gonna be able to see it, but that's my intentions right there. So let's see what we could do about that and get right back to it. Okay, pull them up like this. Take the pressure off of it. I'm trying to catch that 10 around the back. Basically, you see it. You don't see it, but it's a feely. Okay. All right. That's tight. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. To get your alternator to sit back up in place. All right, let's get our stud in here. Okay. Now I can't really see him, but okay. Ooh. Okay. I don't know if you can't see my hand, but I'm trying to get that. Oh, okay, here it is. Yeah. Hello. I'm showing you what I've been up to. This is the back side. How I got that nut in for the long bolt. Magnet, yes. I put the nut on a magnet, feed it up there. Very tedious, very tedious. The magnet, let's grab that. Okay. The magnet held the screw in place, the nut in place, while I was able to turn it by hand from the other side. It's a two-hand situation, that's why I couldn't record it. But you push the bolt through, leave a little gap, because you don't want the bolt to go through all the way. Then when you try to get the nut on there, it's hitting against the bolt because it can't go all the way up. That's one that I did discover. So I had to back out the nut just enough where to say that it sit flush on the back side of the alternator. All right, the next thing is this, the oil pressure switch. It's on top of the cooler. Plug it in last. Plug it in last. Plug it in last. Because the plug is right there, it obstructs you from going up with your hand. 1, 2, trying to get anything in there to get past it between the wire harness, the main harness, because it runs down and it makes an L right into that little section right there. Plus the pieces, the wire harness that was attached to the back. All right, so let's see how it goes, and I'm gonna tighten up and put the tensioner back. All right, let's see how we got to finish this up. This car is so tedious. All right, now that we got our bolt in, our nut on the back side, we could tighten him up. Yes, I'm doing it by hand only for the simple reason that I'm not too positively sure about that damn nut around the backside, and seeing that is something that I cannot see and it's such of a headache, I'd rather to do it by hand
This way I don't disturb anything else and I have to go back down in there. Yes. Worst thing that could happen is that I got to pull this thing back out. Oh dear Lord. It looks to be pulling in the spacers. Nice. Okay. 12mm for the bottom bracket, bottom bolt. The one that's on the alternator, be very gentle with it, be very soft with it. The threads are small and very short, so you don't want to, same thing on the bracket. Both bracket bolts you want to be, you don't want to over tighten them because they will jump. All right, now our tensioner is here. Be careful, remember the direction that is it. The adjustment bolt is on the bottom. Yes, let's not. Okay, so one goes right here. Let me see if I can see him. You could see him, but maybe I can't. I just want to catch the top. Very good. Okay, and we have one more here. Well, Butterfingers this morning. Yeah, I'm trying to get this thing out of here. I have something else waiting. Yes. Okay. Hold them flush. There you go. Okay. Mr. Butterfinger this morning. How are you doing? Catch the one on the bottom. Perfect. Okay. Forward. It's a 1/4 inch drive, so you want to go over it by hand. Give it that last little snug. Anything above 10mm, you always want to double check it. Start on the crank. Be sure that he sits on the groove. Now if you notice this little section here, back here, yeah, be sure to get him behind and he's sitting. You want to get him back here between the tensioner here, right here. You want to make sure that he's sitting properly. Come over to your AC compressor, put him on there. Be sure that he's sitting in the groove. See him there? That's your tensioner. Come over. The bottom of the crank is not properly in. You see him down there? So you're gonna have to definitely be sure to put those things properly in their places before you tighten up anything. Alright? These are not stretch belts. If they're not sitting properly in the groove, they will squeak. This is a idler pulley. Yes, the fan sits on this surface. Now you want to put the belt back on before you put the fan on. So line up your bolts. Yes, line up the bolts. Put the pulley on. Let's see. There you go. put the pulley on, it uses 4 nuts. Sorry. So I got these little nuts here. They are, I don't know, 1/2 inch. They are bigger than the stud that we are putting it on. Now what I'm going to do is I want to lock it in place, but we have to mimic as if the fan was there, yes? So that this way we can tighten up the belts, no problem. So I'm gonna put my little 1/2 inch nut over one stud, and it's 10 millimeter nut, yes, on one side. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, so that this way I don't get a cockeye situation going on. I need for the pulley to sit flush. Okay? You don't have to go crazy. You just want to make sure that it's sitting flush. All right. With that now, we can put our belt on. This is our alternator belt. Yes. This keeps the pulley in place so that you can tighten up the belt. It's not a permanent thing. You just want to be able to put the belt on, because we are going to put our fan back next. All right. So you power steering over that same pulley, alternator come up and over the tensioner, which is also there. Do alternator and then tensioner. Be sure that you are sitting in all grooves. Yes? Now remember that our bolt, adjustment bolt, is on the bottom, so we're gonna have to bring the car up in the air. Okay? Just wind them up by hand. And tighten up your 14 on the pulley itself. Okay. And you will repeat the same process to the AC compressor pulley adjustment right here. See my finger? The adjustment is here. Okay. I'm going to remove back my 10 millimeter bolts for the fan. Don't get your 1/2 inch little nuts confused. Now by doing so, I have a lot of tension on the belt. So you don't want to, just take your time and pull this, because the bottom of the pulley is wanting to push out. Yeah, but it's only gonna do it for a little bit. See? All right. Remember, this little piece here goes on the bottom. Yes. Be sure to put it there. Just have her sit. By removing the bottom piece of the shroud that we put down there prior, the whole thing comes out. In all my years, I've never seen that before, so look at this. I learn something new every day, and if you don't, I suggest that you try. Boom. Oh my Lord. Removal yesterday. I'm going to catch this guy here. Okay, so I have 1, 2. If I push the fan back, okay, then I have 3. Okay, so that's 3 of them that I got here now. Yes. Okay. Take your wrench. You're gonna snug them. Yes, you're gonna snug. You just want to make sure that the surface is flush. Okay. Your fan shroud. I'm just gonna put one. Tighten the. Well, no. Don't do anything to the top of the fan shroud. until you secure the bottom. Okay? Looking at how you tighten it because it sits in a slot on the bottom. Yeah, but it went down easy. Nice and easy. Very appreciative. Okay, so our fan is in. Now, the fan bolts, I'll be honest, while I was down there, I caught the bottom bolts and I tightened them, so it's only the 2 top bolts that I have to tighten here. Yeah, just make sure that if the fan is pulley is spinning while you're tightening, it's tight. You don't need to go anymore. We need to put our radiator on. Easy. Almost definitely. On the negative side, the nut has rounded out, so I just left it alone. Yeah. Let's put our Alternator there. And then we'll be able to see once this is okay. We're at 12, 12.8. 12.8. So just want to put something over it. I'm going to start this vehicle now. Keep an eye on it. That's an alternator that is charging. Once again, thank you so much. This is a tedious vehicle. 2005 Nissan Pathfinder with the 3.5 alternator. Very tedious. If you somewhat follow what is it that I just did, you will get through. Be patient. Be very patient. It's tedious. All right. I'll see you on the next one.